That's awesome. Well, let's talk some largemouth bass.
Hey, how about that?
For the bass guys that have been watching, waiting, when are they going to talk about bass? Well, we're going to talk about it right now. So, Hunter and David both do a lot of bass fishing. David is getting ready. Are you fishing the Anglers in Action?
I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not.
David, you're fishing that, right?
I am.
Next weekend.
I am.
What's skinny? What's going on?
All right, here's the scoop. So, there's several things that's going to be going on, and the first thing I'm going to do is check creeks.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking we've had this cold weather, the water temperature, I haven't been on the water, but I'm guessing it's maybe mid-50s.
Yep.
And so usually when it gets to mid-50s,
Yeah.
they bite like crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I've got to get out there and look some, because I actually just delivered my boat that I was running this year today to its new owners. So I'll be fishing out of my team partner's boat, kind of getting a look at what's going on. So I really like the Osage this time of year. I'm going to go look at creeks, and then if that doesn't pan out, I'm going to look at mainland flats. I like the big palmy as well, and everybody who knows me knows I love the big palmy. But typically there's a crossover, and when I mentioned that earlier, so there's several different things going on. You've got creek fish biting, but I tend to go look for the bigger ones, and I think those bigger fish set up in trees. They may be in creeks, but they're not on the bank. They're out. I'm looking for where the shad are. I don't care too much this time of year about those thread fins. Those 2-inch, 3-inch thread fins. I'm looking for hand-sized gizzards. I want those big gizzards, because those big fish put it on the feed bag. I mean, you may only get 5 to 8 bites a day. They're all big ones. They're all 4 to 6 pounders. So the baits of choice: large black market balsa.
Yep.
1 ounce spinnerbait.
Big blade.
Big blade.
Thump thump.
I personally like to go with an 8 and a 5 willow leaf. I'm a willow leaf guy. I don't start throwing the number 8 Colorado until 49-ish, 51-ish. So that water temperature right in there. Because when you think on Truman, when you think it's time to throw a jerkbait,
It was cold Friday morning.
you need to be still throwing that big spin, because that big spinnerbait will catch them. On the front side, trying to warm up, 49, I know this sounds cliche, but 49 is colder than 49 on the backside. When it's cooling down, when we're going from summertime into fall into peaking at winter, 49 in the fall they are still a lot more active than what they are 49 in the spring. And you have got to feed them what they want. I mean, I've heard stories and stories over the years about how I'm off doing something else, and it's a nasty day in the 3rd week of November, and I know the water temperature's probably 48 to 51, and I'm like, they're probably not biting too good. And then all of a sudden, a guy's like, you see all these posts, and it's like, oh, caught these great big giants, on a spinnerbait in 2 foot of water. So you just have to go and you have to try. I mean, the arms that are in play are all the arms. I mean, the Tebow, the Grand, the Osage, the Palmy, the little Tebow, the little Palmy. I mean, I'm thinking that you have equal opportunity this time of year. You just have to find where the bite is.
It's hard to get people to take that too. I get, I'm sure we all do. You get messages constantly like, "Hey," it's usually the same old. It's like, "Hey, I haven't been in a month.
I'm
Where's a
taking
good
my
place to
buddy
go?"
or something.
Yeah.
Taking so and so. Ain't been out.
Right.
Blah blah. And I tell them, I'm like, "Man, I've been on every arm, and it's good." And I'm sure that they look at that and like, "Yeah, well, thanks."
Thanks for nothing. The whole lake is great.
Right.
Oh, thanks.
I'm not lying. I would tell you if it wasn't. You know what I mean? Like, it's hard to get when you say that all the arms are good.
Yeah.
That's a big statement, and most
It
people are
is.
gonna call bullcrap, you know.
Right.
And like, it's true.
Yeah.
It is, and you just have to put forth the sweat equity
Mm-hmm.
to be able to hunt them down and find out
Last 2 tournaments.
because maybe the fish in the Tebow aren't doing what they are in the Grand, but they're still biting.
Yeah.
So, okay, fine. The creek fish are biting in the Grand, and the main lake flatfish are biting in the Tebow, or you know, opposite. And it's just, I always try to fish, sample every arm, and then make my decision on, like if I'm prepping for a tournament, I make my decision on the last few days that I've practiced. Okay, there's 2 1/4 size average biting in this arm. There's 3 1/4 size average biting in this arm. There's 2 pound average biting in this arm. And then let your weather dictate where you go. Okay, so it's a cloudy, overcast day. I'm gonna fish the cleanest water that I have available to me. And if that happens to land on, okay, that in practice it was 2 1/4 pound average, that's gonna give you a baseline. That's not telling you what you're gonna catch, because on the cloudy day, you know, in that cleaner water, those big ones might bite. So you might catch 3 4 pounders, you know, and a couple of line burners, you know, or you may catch better than that. It just depends on you know, the wind, number one, because typically
Wind sucks.
yeah, mid-October through mid-November, it's gonna blow. I mean, it's gonna blow 30.
Especially this coming week.
Yeah, and
burnt already.
yeah, and you know, we're gonna have, you know, for all these guys watching for the Anglers in Action Championship that's coming, you know, yeah, we've got great warm weather. Well, guess what comes with warm weather this time of year?
South wind.
Boom. And it's not going to blow 5 miles an hour. It's going to blow 35. So lots of times that blows out places, especially at 7:04:30. You know, there's not much water on that flat. You get a direct wind on it, all of a sudden it is churned up chocolate milk. It's the fish, the water quality is terrible. So then you have to find some different areas, you know. So I hate to say it, but you know, it's you just gotta fish. You gotta put the trolling motor down, and you just gotta, you know, have 15 rods on the deck, and not 15, but you know, close to it. And you gotta sample. You gotta sample whether they want that spin, whether they want the balsa, or they want a top water, or very rarely this time of year do I pick up a jig and flip it, but I can remember several times that's been the thing. You know, that's probably the last thing on my menu list, but because I wind, I stand on it. I love to make them bite. Sometimes,
When it's cold, you gotta cast a lot. Stay warm.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Repetition. Well, I do know, because I talked to Dave McCormick yesterday, and he saw 53, 54 degrees. He was fishing the Pommy.
Okay.
Put in a shiny bin, ran up the Pommy.
Yeah.
So it is getting down into what you were talking about, the prime range, when they start to bite. He was throwing your bait, the big one,
Yep.
juicy fruit, and that's what he caught all his keepers on in less than 3 feet of water. So, but he did say that they were all relating to some kind of wood. So
Probably horizontal.
yeah,
Probably lay downs.
Yeah.
Probably horizontal wood. You know, it's that typical deal.
yeah.
You know, so I would
Don't they
do that.
suspend like in cedar tops this time of year?
Come on with it. Come on.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
Them great big ones.
yeah.
Them
Like,
great big ones like to do that.
yeah, that's kind of what I was. I'm not a huge bass guy, but I used to fish some tournaments.
Man,
Yeah.
that's,
Sell more baits.
Lizards used to be big, you know, and
Yeah.
you know, you'd take the stupid lizards with a lighter weight in those treetops, those cedar tops, man, and just come through there just nice and easy. Rod just load up.
usually it's got to have something flashing
Mm-hmm.
or something wiggling for me to throw it through the top.
Yeah. Hunter, you fish the Grand Arm a lot for
Yep.
bass. I mean, same stuff that he's talking about. Anything that you'd add to that?
I had a guy message me, I think it's been a week or 2 weeks ago. He messaged me and he asked me, you know, hey Hunter, you know, I seen you on Truman again talking about bass fishing. I said, well, go up the Grand, throw a spinnerbait in the creeks, and maybe throw a jig around. They messaged me later on and said, hey, we caught quite a few bass, we had a good time. So that's what they threw, just a spinnerbait in the creeks, and jigs a little bit, and they caught pretty good fish.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
good to know. So, for the bass guys, moral of the story is they probably shouldn't be surprised if they get whacked by a hybrid potentially.
Absolutely not. You
Yeah.
know, you're gonna throw your spinnerbait. You're gonna throw your black market balsa around some horizontal wood, or even next to a standing cedar or a leaning cedar. Throw by a leaning cedar.
See what you get.
Please throw by a leaning cedar and see what happens.
Yeah.
No, that big hybrid
Mm-hmm.
will want to take your stuff away from you.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure you got good line and heavy line.
I know the Missouri Bass Federation State Championship. I heard some guys getting into them.
Oh yeah.
And then I covered the Lady Bass Anglers tournament I think that was last weekend.
Yeah.
A lot of them thought they had their winning fish on the line and pulled in a 5-6 pound hybrid.
Nice.
So
That weather stunk for that deal, right?
that day on Saturday, so the Missouri Bass Federation, there was 140 some odd boats. I think only 7 of them, when I saw the first day results, had over 10 pounds. And I think the highest was 15 or 16. So yeah, that's a tough day for that many boats. And the Lady Bass Anglers, I don't think eclipsed 10 pounds. So I think it was just under 10 pounds that won it. Yeah, that was a horrible, horrible day. So anyway.
I had the fortunate or unfortunate circumstances to be at Table Rock fishing that regional. And after the first day, there was 170 boats in it. After the first day, 13 and change is leading. And you know, it was awful. It really was. You know, I ended up catching like almost 5 pounds the first day, caught 10.5 the second day, and got the prize of being 1 ounce short of getting the last place check. But that's how it
Sounds
goes.
like you, Hunter.
Yeah, I'm good. There.
Used to that spot.
I'm good at it.
There wasn't any kind of brownfish bite
First
down there this
round.
time?
Oh
of
my
year?
gosh, I caught 3 brownies the second day, and I was spooning docks.
Yeah.
My biggest one was 3 3/4.
I was gonna say you get in that late October,
Yeah.
mid-October to mid-November, that brownfish bite down there.
Yeah,
Oh.
absolutely. And the second day of the tournament started out at 65 degrees, and we ended at 42.
Ugh.
So I was thinking, and I stayed down for a long time trying to fish that gravel down there, thinking that those brownies are gonna bite. And I was like, I gotta abandon this. I gotta go throw a spoon on a dock and try to catch some.
I can tell you there is some fish biting in these creeks. I'm not a kayak fan. There's a lot of guys out there that are. I think everyone needs a go-kart flag. Some of them about to get run over on a windy day. But if you're a kayak guy, put your life jacket on, get in these creeks and ditches right now. There's some crappie to be had up in some of these creeks.
Well, I'm here to tell you the kayak championship that they're gonna have. If they do some research, some of these creeks that are landlocked right now because of the lake level, they're a fool if they don't go and look at those creeks because they can win out of those creeks. There's no doubt in my mind.